Alright, welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings Here. Yes, from a basement and such. Yeah, so, probably isn't worth your time. But anyway, I'll make the video anyway. Yes, it'll play anyway. If you allow it to continue to play, it'll keep playing. But anyway, I think this video was pretty good, actually, the one on the website, that I will now paraphrase, and add value to, one would hope, in terms of, making a simple argument in which I have all the evidence, an insane amount of evidence to argue that life is just an infestation. And you could describe it as buggy, okay? And that's all it is a bunch of bugs fighting with each other to, basically, they've even evolved to a point where they lay their eggs inside of each other, which, they're little maggots. So that's the pinnacle, the great, okay, it's an infinity. It just keeps getting so much more perfect, in this little thin thread. But that's part of the great evolutionary process that creates these fantastic organisms, and they actually get to a point where, yes, they're describable as the most terrifying alien we can imagine. Yes. Anyway, so yeah, we haven't acquired those wonderful features yet, but we do our parasitism and our, in a different way, capturing things and obliging them to serve our purpose. How to serve animal kind. We wrote that book. It's just so bad. Anyway. Yes, and so I'm making this argument, pleading with humans to quit being bugs. Just say, no, let's not do this anymore. Let's figure out that there's just nothing to do here except make messes and partially clean them up, so let's just not do any more of this. It's all quite silly, as I point out in the video. And I have been pointing out for years. And, attempting to make the argument, but see, I can only do it in this mocking fashion because I can't prevent my instincts, my argument, my rhetorical instincts, let's call them, my rhetorical conditioning. I can't prevent myself from just recognizing the truth. You're fucking imbeciles, and I'm talking to imbeciles, and they don't deserve anything better than mockery. Because they're not stupid like, oh, I missed that class. They're stupid like, who the fuck needs to know anything? I can still have opinions. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, that's where I am. So let's go to the videotape. It's going to be some little joyride. It's probably louder than is necessary, so we'll try to fix that a little bit. Little bit. It's probably more than enough. Okay. Continuing. Literally thing, And so just pointing out, yes, all for a joyride. You'll paralyze things, torture things, kill things, just for this, whatever this is, this fun of interacting and being on Earth. So this is part of the irony of my catastrophic failure, is that the only people probably watching this video are people seeking and kind of wondering, yeah, maybe, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure there's not a whole lot of aggressive right-to-lifers beyond trolls. And they're not really right-to-lifers, they're just Gary haters. It's... it should be an audience easy to convince, and I'm still, not doing great. So, yeah, it's all really just horrible. This is to death. the porpoises being friendly, saying, "Hi, how are you?" No, it's just using these different examples of human behavior that's just incomprehensibly evil. Where like the Japanese go swimming with dolphins and stab them in the head. Well, porpoise eye. And just what the fuck? You really can't find anything to do better that day. That day just didn't come up with like any better ideas, and I think I'll go stab some porpoises. Fuckers. What? I mean, even if they were fuckers, it's still, you want that job? I mean, it's like, human beings would used to, for, hundreds of years, they had to, like, basically, there's a word for it, dress, their own beef burger. And you could just sit there and say, can I really imagine, not only killing animals, but then, tearing their fur off and stuff, and, pulling out their guts, and, and say, oh yeah, this is worth it. I'm worth it. This wonderful day is going to be worth it. I mean, they didn't even have toilet paper. It's like, ew. We're doing this in. Just. Oh God, I don't know. I just don't know how I even keep breathing. See, the instinct is strong to survive, and I just, because I do keep breathing, even though it seems that would be much more natural, that I would just cease. Thing they almost passed out. It was just so, oh God, I can't even think about. Okay, so I was talking about kittens, and the fact that people eat them. So, and I was doing this with the point, okay, so I'm supposed to be able to recognize that people can have a different opinion, and they can somehow see it differently, and it's just this process of re-education, and blah 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 blah, and you're just like, oh man. Yes, that's the chore, is that there somehow has to be a bridge to be built of some sort of reasoning to try to say, okay, either you do have to convince me or I do have to convince you. But it should not be impossible that the truth can't win. Fuck. That's happening. But they don't care about pigs. Or chickens, or so just talking about the duplicity of people, so even if you get them to some point where they can recognize, Freddy's nightmare, they can't figure out that Bundy was a bad guy. They'll make defenses for, well, he just was toilet trained wrong or something. It's just torturing women and murder, raping. Well, sometimes that can make sense. Shit. There's so many little things you say, oh, if that thing didn't happen, yes. All the things where you just imagine all the little events in your life, and you say, well, if I could pluck that one out, maybe I would have a whole different kind of life, and, would be sitting on a more comfortable chair, and, would be doing something completely different on this day in time. But yeah, you don't even know if you should wish that on yourself, because you say, well, everything could have gone so much wronger, so why don't I just leave things alone, because change, I'm not lucky, it's just throwing dice of change, and I don't know, probably not going to work out, so I might as well not spend any time doing that. But if you do it anyway, right? You say, well, you'd probably be better off not bothering thinking about that. Well, shit. Yeah, right. I'll tell my brain not to think about it. That'll stop it. Oh, wait a minute. No, that doesn't work, does it? No, that doesn't work. It's kind of too ridiculous. And so it really, I guess for them, it's just the thing that makes them so defensive is that you're just too damn stupid. Yeah, so that's the problem, is their defensiveness. And so, once you start throwing insults, it just escalates and escalates, and, and then you're stuck with the escalated insults. And, you know, you could even, you know, write them on a wall or something. And they're just going to constantly re-provoke the hostilities and all the rest of the crap. And so it's just hard to get past any of that. I mean, you know, and so, you know, it is a real obstacle to any kind of serious examination of reality, is that people are defensive about what they have done in their life, what they wish to do in their life, and these definitions are critical to assignment of some kind of statement like you suck, or you're an asshole, or you're an idiot, and they want to evade the label by evading the whole process of rational acquisition of labels. This is if I'm right, okay, in how I would describe the world and why we're here and how we got here and what's it all about in terms of the wacky universe doing all this, whatever it is it's doing, okay, and the fact that this is just a horrible mistake, making these little creatures and evolving them with all of these features and tools to just play a carnage game, you know, for some kind of trivial victory, for somebody to say, I'm hot, the babes really love me. Okay, you know, so that's the assignment here. And if I'm right, we're playing for huge stakes. I mean, it's torture, for fuck's sake. So, you know, here I'm, you know, I'm trying to be personable, and I even attempt to be a little humorous, and you know, the subject is torture, and you have to do that. You have to make torture. Let's have a conversation about torture, and let's have it, you know, let's have fun. I mean, even that is so difficult to, you know, wrap the brain around, that that's what you have to do. You have to keep the conversation upbeat as you discuss the possibility of trillions and trillions of sentient organisms being miserably tortured. Fuck. You know, that shouldn't be a game we have to play. I have to learn how to play that? I don't know. Homie, don't play that. Simple. Homie can't play that. Because why would you want it when you have to take it? You get it? I mean, I wouldn't want it if I had to take it. You know. So just talking about the nature of human beings and the fake life we live, the Stepford life. And when, you know, when you give an actual male, actual unlimited power, what do they turn into, right? You know, and what do they turn everybody else into? Is some sort of slave to their desire. And so there isn't much admirable in the nature of the bug. Hence, experience thing. I mean, I smell it, I touch it. Yeah, so I was mocking the nihilists. I mean, you're sitting here saying, oh, I have to explain being conscious to other conscious organisms and explain that there's no point in telling me it's not happening. I mean, I'm conscious, I'm experiencing it, and fuck, it's happening, shithead. And yes, it's all happening in my brain, okay? My brain is creating this version, okay, of the exterior universe. And in this version, okay, there's bad things don't mean just the word bad. They mean, ooh, creepy feeling. They mean, you know, they have a real meaning inside the brain, because the brain said, there's no point in just saying bad. I need to make bad mean something. So here's a kick in the nuts. You know, so that's how the brain is working. It's manufacturing the experience. And it is manufacturing it because, frankly, I couldn't be experiencing it if it didn't make it. So it's obviously doing it. It's a real cardboard box. And yes, the brain doesn't have any cardboard. but it doesn't matter. It made it. I mean, fuck, you people really just are so fucking. I mean, that's when you're just, I'm making this argument that this isn't about people being ignorant. Thousands of years ago, ignorant. Even hundreds of years ago, they had so little, information, like the plague. They had no clue what was causing it. They make up all kinds of crap. They don't even have a, oh, fleas on rats. Oh, okay. And it's, but there's no excuse for these people. There's no excuse for some modern human, to make up crap and to say things that are just crappy, like feelings don't matter. Doesn't matter how many people are tortured. Doesn't make a difference. Fuck you. So, you're trying to say, okay, we're having a discussion between reasonable people over what it's reasonable to believe. Yeah, see, and that's what we're not having. So that's really the key point, is they really aren't reasonable. I mean, it really isn't. The hypocrisy that I pointed out with the pig, cat thing, all the other stuff. There's so many points where you can just see how unreasonable people are. And so, yes, this becomes more of a psychological thing, and like, you have to put it to the right music or something. It's I don't know, it's some kind of queer thing like that. Like, oh fuck, I don't want to do that. I mean, it's kind of, everything's just a formula, right? And you say, how could these formulas work? But like Bambi worked. Somehow this was a kid's movie. Some kind of charming story about horrible death of mother, forest fire, this, and somehow, well, it's a really good story. I mean, if you like mayhem and horror, and then they did that Lion King thing. It's like, and what are you talking about? Everybody shows up to celebrate the carnivore's birth. That's going to rip their children to pieces. What? No. And they get away with it, though. So it doesn't matter what lack of rational continuity some wacky story has, they'll still turn it into the circle of making silver linings. Oh, shit. But painters to show up there and paint that old fence. Yeah, so there's always mocking, like there's something for us to do out there in the universe. We need people because there's a fence needs painting, and only people can do it. The horse is really bad at painting. Elephants, maybe. Like, oh, I'm ignorant. I didn't know any better. No, you belligerently burned the books. Okay, so that's really the story. Is these people aren't accidentally stupid. No, they're stupid on, like, as a willful attack against anything called knowledge and the truth, and they just keep putting up their God is great placard of some kind to evade any responsibility for the truth and their role in it. Ugh, it's pathetic. So I can't help but mock you. Yes, so again, and I keep saying, well, but I can't do that, right? Because that's not going to work. It's a bad strategy, mockery. So, but I'm a bug. Yeah. It's so hard not to be reactive. And yes, and that's it. So yes, so that's my failure, that I haven't been able to just be a complete fake and phony and contrive a seduction to just bring them to our side and just accept, well, yeah, they're going to still be really stupid and they don't know what end the bullets come out of the gun or any of that kind of crap, but at least they're on our side. And that's all it's about, is migrating them, seducing them with bullshit. And then just say, let's all have a party. Yeah. And we'll give you toys and stuff. And you'll be happy if you join us. All kinds of perks. You know, it should be easy. And I'm failing. And that's embarrassing. Yes. So, I mean, I have all the evidence, right? So it's just piles of it, you know, just all the ways you could just point out how ludicrous humans are, the wasted money, the paralyzed kids for nonsense, you know, just insane the amount of bullshit that goes on. I mean, I saw it the other day, I didn't watch the video, but a physicist doing a drinking video. And you're just like, oh, come on. You can't know that there's no point in taking an impressionable audience and giving them any kind of idea that this works, that this is the, hey, you want a great life? Start doing this. No. No. Too fucking stupid. Thing like that, just so tiny, and they're pro-life. You know, their whole life has been shit. Yeah, so yeah, you know, and there's so many examples of this where, you know, people really have had it. I mean, they've just gotten the worst of it, and they just sit there and just keep, you know, in the pile of bodies, and you know, their own wooden leg, and you know, they're climbing Mount Preposterous, and just, hey, I'm a winner. It's a really great. Let's do this again. You know, you're just, oh, come on, can't be true. Waiting, how the fuck could I be the loser in this fight? Yes, it just doesn't make any sense. You know, I just can't write it on a piece of paper and calculate it, so to speak, and say, geez, yeah, I sure deserve to lose because, yes, I have all the evidence on my side. Their side is mockably insipid. And you know, the hypocrisy, the duplicity alone, just for that alone. I mean, huge win for my side. Yeah, and then you could just go through all the despicable bug behavior of human beings throughout history. You just say, oh, come on. What do you want to save this thing for? What do you want to put this in a jar and preserve it for? Oh, come on. Too ridiculous. You want to put this in the museum wall? Come on. My life is just these fucking percolating horror stories that you're... yeah, so that's the other downside. So, yes, once you're a realist, yeah, you're stuck with reality, you know, just introducing itself in all kinds of moments where you're saying, I really want to do what I'm doing here now. You know, I really don't want to think about something meaningful. And you're going to be forced to do it. Yeah. And it's, no, just not, you know. So, yeah, I can't promise a bunch of perks for being a real, you know, active participant in your life in reality, because, yeah, it's wow, it's so fucking ludicrous. I mean, to have these conversations, it's ludicrous to have a conversation about the fact that life is just way too expensive. I mean, it's so insanely expensive. How can anybody defend it? It's so it's like $5 trillion for a loaf of bread. I mean, I have to explain how, well, that's not very reasonable. It's just, you know, let's just burn down the rest of the city, and you know, I'll find a graceful way to get the fuck out of here. So I was talking about the plague. You know what I'm saying? You know, look what they survived. I mean, just absolute horror. Just watching, you know, whatever, 40% of the population drop dead in some disgustingly horrible way. And yeah, why, you know, have a baby? Oh, come on. So, but we know they didn't have choices. So we know that they were still living by bug instinct, and they didn't have the benefit of knowing better, meaning doing better. They couldn't do better, even when they knew better. Thing with people. And so I guess I just didn't get into let's all sing a song. I mean, none of that ever. Yeah, there's so many things that people just like, what the fuck? Never even would occur to me to pick up my stringed instrument and dingle dangle and then sing some kind of song. No, never even occurred to me. That's part of one of the buttons you can press. That's one of the functionality buttons. Sing-songing. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I don't hate music, but I just mean it's not something I instinctively have any impulse to do. Good silver paint for the clouds. Yeah, yeah, well, I guess, just make the argument that people think blood is silver. They got their vocabulary fucked up. The clouds are dripping in blood. Enjoying that. I shouldn't enjoy that. But yeah, I love when it rains on parades. Yeah, and I love when shitheads get run over by steamrollers. So, yeah, and I shouldn't, but, it's just a fact that I do, so I ought to, I'm a bug, but I don't take that seriously. The fact that I enjoy it doesn't mean that it should be. So, that I know. And show up again to make some more. And such. Yeah, so that's the end. So, yeah, I think it was a good video. But it, trying to get to this procedural point that, I have spent all these years, trying to manufacture these arguments and trying to say them in some other way and try to, blah, 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 blah. And, it's such a simple conversation in a way. It's like, here we are, we're on Earth, let's talk about what it means to be whatever the fuck we are. And to see if there's any way you can contrive any, reason to force, it is a forced march. Something to arrive here and go through this tedious process of acquiring just the vocabulary skills, the capacity to integrate into the system, to find some way of supporting yourself and all that kind of crap. And then on top of that, try to acquire some understanding of what a good life is and how the fuck you live one. And why keep doing this? For what? Because we need a 60th or 70th Super Bowl. I don't know what number they're up to, but do we really? Yeah. I can't see it. I can't see it as very important. Fuck. Certainly not worth paralyzing anything or killing anything or harming anything or, giving anything cancer for. So, and I mean anything, in the sense of anything sentient. Alright, so yeah, we'll call that a video. So, till the next time and such. And, it's just all... Ugh. Well, just so dismal. And again, this whole argument is about you're trying to get to the people who, in a sense, are already living the feudalist life. They've already conceded it's not worth having kids. It might not even be worth being married. It might be, and they won't say the words to all the dumbasses and say, stop being dumbasses. They'll just let them drill holes in the boat. You're just like, oh, come on. You got to do better than that. The smart people can't just keep making excuses for the shitheads who are soiling the place. Quite literally. Ew. Anyway, till the next time. I mean, they actually are, you know, as I understand it, San Francisco is just covered in human feces. You know, it must be such a fun place. Ugh.